Hello there, Vicky here. I'm just going to do a little demo for my Thread and Treasure stretch gemstone bracelet making kit, and hopefully it all makes sense and it makes life a bit easier for you. First of all, we'll go through what's inside the box. So we have got your beading elastic and your beading needle, and something to notice is that the beading needle is actually split, and that will make threading the elastic onto there a lot easier. You've got your beads, so these are gemstones, they're real gemstones. You've also got some silver accents in there as well. You've got your gemstone meaning card as well, for those that like that. Get that out of there. See if I can get it out. There we are. Card. You've got also a bead stopper, and that is basically a spring with little handles. So if you do that, the springs open, and that is in there to show you how you're going to trap your elastic across the springs. Okay, we're not going through the hole, we're going across the springs. That's how we trap the elastic, and that will help your beads not to fall off when you're making your bracelet. Okay, and in here, of course, you've got your instructions that are step by step, but that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to put that to one side for now. Okay, first of all, we need to measure your wrist, and we don't need a ruler or a tape measure or anything like that to do it. We need your elastic, and we need a pen, which is not in the kit, just a felt nib, a biro, something like that. In the kit, you've got 2 pieces of elastic, so if something goes wrong, don't worry, you've got a second piece of elastic to use. I'm just going to put that to one side for now. First of all, what we're going to do is half the elastic. So we're going to take the 2 ends, put them together, so the elastic, which is plenty long enough for all sizes, is in half. That's it. And then, but we're going to wrap it around your wrist. Let's see. No, I'm going to put that through there. Like that. Put it through the loop. There we are. So I've made myself a loop. I've literally just put the ends through the looped end. I'm going to put it on like a bracelet and just pull it gently, not tight. Whatever you do, don't pull it too tight at this point. You don't want a super tight bracelet. So nice and loose, and that will give us an approximate measurement on your wrist. Get your pen and just make a little mark just on the elastic. You can use any kind of pen, but just something that will make a mark on the elastic like that. And this will become evident why we need that later. Okay, now we can release that, take it off. Keep your ends together. And now what we need to do is thread on our beading needle to the elastic. Now, as I mentioned, it's split, and all you do is take one end and pop it through so it's on. Yeah, not too fiddly at all. And then just pull it through and bring your tail ends back together again. Just line them up. You don't have to be too accurate. Just put them together. And then on this end, that's where we're going to put our bead stopper. Okay, so this little geezer here. See, open the springs, put the elastic through one of the springs and close, and there it is, it's on. Okay, and that stops your beads falling off. Okay, so that's that bit done. Now for the fun part. Get your lovely beads and you can thread them on in whichever order you would like. It really doesn't matter at this stage. I recommend using your box to keep them all together, otherwise they will roll all over and you'll end up on the floor chasing them around. And actually, before we start beading, I missed a part. So where you put your bead stopper should be where your mark is. So like that. So this length, all from the bead stopper to the needle, that essentially is your wrist size. Okay? And we'll do a check of fit later. So it's not the end of the world if, you know, it doesn't fit at this stage properly. So don't worry too much. So you can put these on in any order that you would like. You have 16 gemstones, gemstone beads in the kit, and you have 10 silver accents. So you could put them on randomly, and it doesn't matter, you know, if you have 2 silvers next to each other or whatever, or you can work out, you know, the length of that, and you can work out a sequence if you want to. That is entirely up to you and your choice. I'm going to go pretty random for the purposes of this demonstration. So I'm just threading them on to the needle, and I can do a few onto the needle at a time because obviously it is quite a long needle. Just thread them on this, and when you've got a few on, then you can pull them down and pull them down to your bead stopper, just like that. It fills up pretty quickly. Nearly there. And then I actually might, if you decide that you want to take them off again, if it's when you've only just put them on, you can kind of reverse action and just pull them off that way. I've decided I want a silver one in between there. And then you can see that is full. Okay. So that for me is my wrist size and should, in theory, fit. Now what I'm going to do is wrap it around my wrist, just like that, and I'm just going to hold it together, you know, just to see, just pinch that elastic together, and just to see how that feels. Is it too tight? Does it feel okay? And I've pinched it in a way that I've tried to close the gap, all right? Because obviously you're not going to have a gap. That'll be where your knot is. All right, and that's good. I'm happy with that. If you're not happy with that, if you want to add a couple more beads, then you need to move your bead stopper down a bit to make room. Okay, So you just move it along a little way. Oops. All right, so I've just made a little bit more room. I can push them down, and then I've got some more gaps there. So I can add another 1 or 2 or however many I want. Okay, so there's your threading done. If you decide that you're not happy with your sequence, that you want to try something different, now's the time to change it. So all you need to do is release your bead stopper, pull off all your beads from that end, easy, and drop them back in your box and start again. Okay? I'm not going to do that though. Okay, so I'm going to move on to tying the knot. So I'm going to move my bead stopper right the way down to the end. Literally there now. Now I know how many beads I need. And actually I've got 1 extra on here, so it'll be a good loose fit for me. That'll be nice. Now what you need to do is move the beads into the centre of the elastic. Just jiggy them along. They will move. Just give them a little encouragement. So you've got equal-ish lengths of elastic at both ends. Okay. Just a little tip. If you find yourself pulling on the elastic to help the beads along, just be careful, because if you pull the elastic there against the needle can cut into the elastic. So don't hold it there. If you're stretching it, hold the elastic, not the needle. You know, move your beads along like that by supporting your elastic here, not here. Okay, so now we're coming to the knot. So I'm going to now take off my bead stopper. So I've got that end. And I'm going to cut off my my needle now. So you'll need a pair of scissors. Just kitchen scissors is fine, just as long as they are sharp. Just cut that. And that releases your needle. Okay. So now you've got 2 open ends. Now, be careful. Don't be too heavy-handed now, because your beads might end up all over the floor. So, the knot. As if you were going to start a normal knot. Cross it over once, like this. Take the elastic under and just pull them together. Now what you're going to do with your finger is just make yourself a loop, and that's just to give yourself some room, and that's so that you can take the ends under once and under twice, like that, and pull. You can see it's gone through twice, and then I'm pulling tight, and I'm pulling, 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 pulling. And you can feel when it's not going to get any tighter. So that is a good, good firm knot. And you can test it by pulling your bracelet the other way. It should not loosen, okay? And if it does loosen, you can retighten it. Just pull it a little bit more. It'll almost stop stretching. Of course, don't go more than that, because you can break elastic. And that is basically it. You can now cut off your ends. So I would give that I don't know, a millimetre. Don't go too close, not too far away, about there. You don't really want to see it. And there. So, what you can also do, now you've cut your ends off, is you can hide your knot, okay? And this is just a gentle pull through one of the beads. You can just see, boom, ah, it's gone. There we are. Beautiful finish. Now you're done. There we go.